מבוסס על סדרת ספרי זוהר לעם.
The lesson is based on Zsolt to everyone. You can download the books at Kabbalah.tv. You can order on telephone at 1-700-508-209. Hello, we are reading from Zsolt to everyone from Truma, donation, from article Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, item 284. You can download the book at Kabbalah.tv. You can ask questions there too. Zsolt to everyone, article Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, item 284. Man's soul is called by three names, which are Naran. They are all included in one another, and their power is in three places. Nefesh is inside the grave until the body rots in the ground. By that, she reincarnates in this world to be present among the living and to know their sorrow. When they are needy, she asks for mercy on them. 285. Ruach entered the Garden of Eden of the earth and is depicted there in a form of the body from this world, in one clothing that it clothes there. There it enjoys the pleasures and delights of the brightness of the garden. On Sabbath, beginnings of months, and special occasions, it rises up to the upper Garden of Eden, enjoys there, and returns to its place, as it is written, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. In these times. 286. Neshama promptly rises to her place, the place from which she came out, Malchut, where the Neshama was born. It is for her that she illuminated the candle, Malchut, to shine above, since the souls of the righteous rise from man to Zeranpin and Malchut, and mate through them. This Neshama does not come down to the world. She mingles with whom she mingles, Malchut, from all the sides, from above and from below, since the Malchut is included with the souls of the righteous. And as long as the soul does not rise to be connected to the throne, the world of Beriah, the spirit does not crown in the Garden of Eden of the earth, and the Nefesh does not settle in her place. When the soul rises, there is rest for all, and they come to their place. 287. When the people in the world need mercy, when they are afflicted and go to pray on the cemetery, this Nefesh awakens. She goes and wanders and evokes the Ruach, and the Ruach awakens toward the fathers, rising and awakening the Neshama. Then the Creator has pity over the world. And even though these words of the Neshama have been clarified in other ways, that the Nefesh is in Asiyah, the Ruach is in Yetzirah, and the Neshama is in Beriah, they are all included in this meaning, and this is the clarification of the matter. 288. When a Neshama delays rising to her place, the Ruach goes and stands by the door of the lower Garden of Eden, and the door is not open to him. He walks and roams, and there is no one to watch over him. The Nefesh goes and wanders in the world and sees the goof, filling with worms, in the din of the grave, in the battering of the grave, and she mourns over it. All is in punishment until the Neshama ties to the place above, and then they all tie to their places. 289. All three are one knot, such as above in Naran, which are Malchut, Zeranpin, and Bina de Atzilut, who are all one, and one tie. Nefesh, Malchut, has no light of her own. She partakes in one goof, which is the three worlds, Bia, in which Malchut dresses as a Neshama in a goof, to delight it and to nourish it with all that is needed. As it is written, she gives prey to her household and portions to her maidens. Her household is the goof that she feeds, and her maidens are the organs of the goof and the sfirot de Bia. 290. Ruach is the one who rides on the Nefesh and governs her, illuminating for her with everything she needs, meaning Zeranpin. The Nefesh is a chair for this Ruach, Neshama, who emitted and emanated this Ruach, governs it and illuminates for it in the light of life. Is Bina. Ruach depends on the Neshama and shines from her with the light that she shines for him. Nefesh depends on Ruach, shines from him, and is nourished by him, and all are one not. 291. The upper Neshama, Bina, does not rise into the springing of Atik, of all that are ancient. The most ancient of all that are hidden, Arechanpin, in Katnut, the Bina comes out of Rosh Arechanpin, and during Gadlut she returns to Rosh Arechanpin, to the place from which she came out. She is filled with light from it because it does not stop shining. And as long as the Neshama did not return to her place, this Ruach does not enter the Garden of Eden, which is the Nefesh, Malchut. And the Ruach is always only in the Garden of Eden, because Zeranpin and Malchut mate with one another, and the Neshama is above. The Nefesh too, Malchut, does not sit in her place inside the Guf below, which is Biyah, as long as the Neshama has not returned to her place above. 292. Everything spreads similarly in man below. And even though Naran in man are all one not, the Neshama rises up in the springing of the well, in Yesod de Malchut. The Ruach enters the lower Garden of Eden, such as above, meaning that Zeranpin enters the Garden of Eden, the Atzilut, Malchut. The Nefesh sits inside the grave, and if the Nefesh above, Malchut, sits inside the Guf, in the grave, where is the grave above? It is within the hard Klippa. This is so because in Malchut it is written, and her legs go down to death, dressing at her siyum, and inside the hard Klippot, which is considered death and grave. Hence, Nefesh is similar to what is below. It is all one opposite the other. Because of that, the Neshama, Naran, divides by 3 degrees, and there are one knot and one meeting. 293. As long as the bones are still in the grave, before they rot, the Nefesh is there. Here is a secret for those who know the path of truth, who fear sin. When the Neshama crowns above inside the holy crown, Malchut and the Ruach stands in the upper light on Sabbath, beginnings of months, and special occasions, while this Nefesh descends from the upper light to dwell in the Garden of Eden, and illuminates and sparkles. The Nefesh stands inside the grave, dressing in the form that the Guf had initially. Then all the bones rise in that form, praising and thanking the Creator. It is written about it, all my bones will say, the Lord who is like you. It does not write say, but will say, in the grave. 294. If the eye were given permission to see, it would see the night of the beginning of the Sabbath, and the night of the beginning of the month, and of occasions as forms over the graves, which thank and praise the Creator. But people's folly detains them from seeing, and they do not know, and do not notice why they are in this world. They are not concerned with watching over the honor of the upper king in this world, much less being concerned with the honor of the upper world, what it stands on, and how matters are interpreted. 295. On the day of Rosh Hashanah, beginning of the year, when the world is sentenced and the throne of judgment stands toward the upper king, to sentence the world, every Nefesh wonders and seeks mercy over the living people. On the night of the end of the day of judgment, they go and wonder to listen and to know the sentence to which the world was sentenced. Sometimes they alert the living through a vision. As it is written, in a dream, a vision of the night when sound sleep falls on men while they slumber in their beds. At that time, he whispers, in the ear of people, and concludes with their moral. Their moral means the nefesh, which stands and determines matters for people, so they will accept the moral. She alerts them their sentence in a vision of the night, and then they will repent. 296. On the last night of the festival, when the verdicts come forth from the king's house, and a shadow is lifted from people who are about to be taken out of this world, a nefesh walks and wanders above. The appointee who is in charge of the carving with the seal in writing interprets the verdicts. His name is Yadu Miyam, who visits the writing of the engraved light. Within high mirrors he comes down at night, and thousands and tens of thousands are with him, taken to that shadow from all who is sentenced to death, and raises him. 297. The nefesh goes and wanders and sees the shadow. She knows who will die and returns to her place, to the grave, declaring to the rest of the dead, so and so is coming to us. If he is righteous and good, they all rejoice. If not, they all say, woe. When that shadow is raised, it is raised to the loyal servant whose name is Matat. He takes the shadow to him and elevates it to his place, as it is written, as a slave who pants for the shadow. It is so because the neshamot are born from Zon, and a shadow from Zeranpin is drawn out to each neshama when it is born. As it is written, under its shade I delighted to sit, and its fruit was sweet to my palate. Zeranpin is the tree of life. Hence, all of life depends on the shade that extends from it. For this reason, when a person is sentenced to death, that shade is taken from him, and the angel Matat returns to its place, to Zeranpin. 298. From the time forth, a place for man's neshama is established in Yesod de Malchut de Atzilut, a place for Ruach in the lower Garden of Eden, and a place for the nefesh to rest and enjoy while she wanders and walks. It is so because there is a nefesh who has no rest, and there is a nefesh that expires with the goof. 299. It is written of the one who has no rest, and the souls of your enemies he will sling out from the hollow of a sling. She wanders and rolls through the world, and she has no rest for days and nights. This is the hardest punishment of all. A nefesh that perishes with the goof perishes from another place. As it is written, that soul shall be cut off from before me. I am the Lord. From before me means that the Ruach is not on her. Hence, she has no connection to what is above, and she does not know of the matters in that world at all. This is a nefesh like a beast. 300. When a nefesh who has rest walks and wanders and meets the appointee, Yadumayam, and his officers, the appointee Yadu Miyam and his officers, they take and raise her through all the doors of the Garden of Eden, showing the honor of the righteous and the honor of her own Ruach. She clings to the Ruach in resting inside the clothing of that Ruach, and then she knows the matters of the upper world. 301. When the Ruach rises to crown in the upper Neshama above, the Nefesh ties to the Ruach and shines from it like the moon shines from the sun. The Ruach connects to the Neshama, and the Neshama connects at the end of Atzilut, which is called entirely like the thought and Chokhmah, since Abiyah are Hubtum. The thought is the Nefesh above, Malchut de Atzilut, which is called Nefesh. 302. Nefesh, Malchut de Atzilut, connects to the upper Ruach, Zeranpin. Ruach connects to the upper Neshama, Bina. Neshama connects to Arichanpin, and Arichanpin to Ein Sof. Then there is contentment for all, and the connection of everything above and below. It is all one, and in one way. 303. Then is the rest of the Nefesh below. It is written about it, and the soul of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of the living with the Lord your God. This means that they are bundled and tied as one thing in it, in Malchut de Atzilut, that the Nefesh is tied to the Ruach in the lower Garden of Eden, Ruach to Neshama in Malchut de Atzilut. It is one opposite the other, the Naran of man corresponding to the Naran of Atzilut. 304. When the moon comes down, meaning Malchut, the upper Nefesh de Atzilut, illuminates on all sides. She illuminates through all the Merkavot, and the camps of angels in Biyah, making them one whole goof that illuminates in the light of the upper brightness. Thus, man's lower nefesh comes down, illuminates from all the sides, from within the illumination of Neshama, and from the illumination of the Ruach, and descends and illuminates for all the Melkavot, and the camps, which are organs and bones of a man's body. Thus she makes them a whole goof that illuminates with its light. 305. And satisfy your soul in drought. Your soul means your nefesh. Afterwards, and make your bones strong, meaning that the nefesh illuminates in the bones and turns them into a whole goof that illuminates in light. It rises and thanks and praises the Creator. As it is written, all my bones shall say, Lord, who is like you. This is indeed the rest of the nefesh on all the sides. 306. Happy are the righteous who fear their Maker in this world, to be rewarded with 3 rests, Naran, for the next world. Rabbi Shimon said, happy are you, my sons, and happy am I that my eyes have seen this, that several high places are established for us and illuminate for us for the next world.
Well, if there are any questions, please. People are already used to sitting together, being integrated, incorporated together, feeling the Zohar as one body, and then there is benefit from it. Yes?
Alexander from Russia is asking, how is it correct to draw the light from the Zohar? From me to the group, or from the group to me?
I don't think that it's through the text. Simply, when during the reading of the Zohar we want to connect together, we build something that is compatible with the upper light, and the Zohar then connects. How he does it, I don't know. It's a skula, it's a special power. But for that to happen, we need to be unified below as the upper light is unified above. And then the connection between us and the upper light, the Zohar makes. Right. A song of ascents, they who trust in the Lord, 307. A song of ascents. They who trust in the Lord are as Mount Zion, which cannot fall, but persists forever. But those are high and holy degrees from the side of upper Gvurot in Binah. They are as the Levites below, who are in levels, degrees by degrees. Meaning, the 50 years that are written in their regard, but at the age of 50 years they shall retire from the service in the work. This points to the 50 gates of Binah, and this is a song of ascent. They who trust in the Lord are as Mount Zion. These are the righteous who trust in Him thanks to their good deeds. 308. And the righteous are as a trusted young lion. But the righteous do not trust their deeds at all. They are always afraid, like Avraham, of whom it is written, and it came to pass, when he was coming near to enter Egypt, as Yitzchak, of whom it is written, for he feared to say, my wife, and as Yaakov, of whom it is written, and Yaakov was very frightened and was distressed. If those did not trust their deeds, it is all the more so with the rest of the righteous in the world. Thus, how does it say here, and the righteous are as trusted as young lions? 309. Of course, it is written, as a young lion, since all of the names of the lion, only a young lion is written, of all the names of lions, and not lion or shachal or shachatz, other names for lion, but only young lion, the weakest and the smallest of them all, who has no faith in its power, although it is strong. So are the righteous. They do not trust their actions now, but are as the young lion. Although they know that the power of their good deeds is strong, they are only as confident as a young lion, and not more. This is why it is written, 310, this is why it is written, they who trust in the Lord are as Mount Zion, not as a young lion or a lion, and not as all its names, but as Mount Zion. As Mount Zion is strong and will never fall, similarly, in the future, they will be as Mount Zion, but not now, when they are only as confident as a young lion who is fearful and does not trust its strength. And you, sons of high and holy, your confidence is as Mount Zion. Happy are you in this world and in the next world. 311. The friends went. When they arrived at the town, the night fell. Rabbi Shimon said, as this day has illuminated for us to reward us with the next world, this night will illuminate to reward us with the next world as well, and to crown in this night the things that we said during the day before Atik Yomin. Such a perfect day will not be found in all the other generations. Happy are we in this world and in the next world. 312. They went inside the house until half the night was through. When half the night had passed, Rabbi Shimon said to the friends, now is the time to crown the holy Merkava above with our efforts. He said to Rabbi Yossi, you, whose words among us have not been heard on this day, you will be the beginning for the illumination of the night, for now is a time of goodwill to illuminate above and below.
Good. Are we continuing?
The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. 313. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. King Solomon, King Shlomo, evoked this singing when the temple was being built, and all the worlds were completed above and below in one wholeness. This song was said when the temple was being built. It was said in whole when the moon, Malchut, was completely full, and the temple was built the same as above. When the temple below was built, there was no joy before the Creator as on that day since the day the world was created. 314. The tabernacle that Moshe made in the desert, so that divinity would come down to earth, on that day another tabernacle was established above, the tabernacle of the boy Matat, and not higher. The tabernacle is the construction of Malchut in the valley of Mochin Devak, and the temple is the Malchut in Mochin Panim Befanim, face to face. When Malchut is in Mochin Devak, Matat guards her. Hence, at that time, she is called the Tabernacle of Matat. When the first temple was built, another first temple was built with it, Malchut, in the degree of Binah, and existed in all the worlds, illuminating for all the worlds. The world was perfumed, and all the upper locks were opened to shine. And there has never been joy in the whole world as on that day. Then the upper ones and the lower ones started and sang the Song of Songs, the singing where the players play for the Creator. 315. King David said a song of ascents. King Shlomo said a song of songs. What is the difference between them? Does it mean that it is all one? Of course, it is all one. But in the days of King David, not all the players, the musicians, were set up in their places to play properly, as the temple has not been built yet. This is why they were not established in their place above, since there are corrections of watches in the earth, so there are in the firmament. They stand one opposite the other, and the watches below have not yet been fully established because the temple has not been built. 316. On the day when the temple was built, the watches were established in their places, and the candle, Malchut, which was not illuminating, began to illuminate. When the singing of the Song of Songs was established for the upper king, the king that peace is his, the Ampin, and this praise is higher than all the first praises. The day when this praise was revealed in the land, that day was complete in everything. Hence, the Song of Songs is the Holy of Holies. 317. It was written in the book of Adam Harishon, on the day when the temple is built, the fathers will evoke singing above and below. This is the reason why we find a shin, the letter shin, of big letters in Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, for her three branches indicate the three patriarchs. These patriarchs are the ones who evoke the song. They do not play, for only the Malchut plays, but they evoke upward the song of those great songs that are appointed over all the worlds, the Song of Binah. 318. On that day, the complete Yaakov came and entered the Garden of Eden with joy to his place. Then the Garden of Eden, Malchut, begins to play, and all the perfumes in the Garden of Eden play. Who caused that singing, and who told her, or told it, said it? Yaakov caused it. For had he not entered the Garden of Eden would not have said song. Thus, Yaakov caused it, and the Garden of Eden, Malchut, offered it. 319. This singing is the singing which is the whole of the Torah, a singing to which upper and lower ones awaken. It is a singing that is as it is above. That is the upper Shabbat, Binah, a singing by whose merit the upper holy name, Malchut, is crowned. Therefore, it is the Holy of Holies, since all its words are in love and joy for all, since the cup of blessing, Malchut, is placed in the right, in Chasadim. For because it is placed in the right, all the joy and all the love are found. And this is why all its words are in love and joy. 320. When this right is regressed, as it is written, he has drawn back his right, then the cup of blessing, Malchut, is placed in the left, where there are dinim, for lack of chasadim. When it is placed in the left, the upper ones and lower ones begin to lament for her. They say Eicha, or how, which is made of the letters of Eicha, meaning no cup of blessing, which is Malchut, who is called Ko. It is so because the high place in which she sat, the place of Binah, has been denied and taken from her. For this reason, all the words in the Song of Songs are from the right side. From the right side are love and joy. Eicha, which lacks the right and only the left is present, all its words are grievance and lamentations. 321. Thus, every gladness, joy, and song are from the left side. This is why the Levites, who are from the left side, play songs. And how can you say that it is dinim and lamentation? Indeed, every joy that is on the left side is found only when the right clings to it, when the Chokhmah in the left dresses in the Chasadim on the right. And when the right awakens and clings to it, the joy in the right does good and soothes the anger on the left. Since all the anger and the dinim, the judgments on the left, are due to the lack of Chasadim, which are on the right. And when anger subsides and there is joy on the right side, complete joy comes from the left, because once it clothes in Chasadim, the Chokhmah on the left illuminates as well, and then the joy is perfected. 322. When the right is absent, the anger on the left increases, because the right does not appease, or is not appeased, and does not do good or rejoice. Then it is said, Eicha, which is the letters of Eicha, where is Cha? For that shall become the cup of blessing, called Ka. For it sits on the left, and the anger increases and does not subside. Indeed, grievances, lamentations awaken. 323. But of course, the cup of blessing has already been placed in the right and given to the Song of Songs. Hence, all the love and all the joy are present. For this reason, all his words are with love and joy, which is not so in all the songs in the world. This is why the singing awakened on the part of the fathers. 324. On that day, when this singing was revealed, divinity came down to the earth, as it is written, and that the priests could not stand and minister, because the glory of the Lord filled the house of the Lord. On that very day, the praise of the Song of Songs was revealed, and Solomon, Shlomo, said it in the spirit of holiness. 325. The praise of the singing of the Song of Songs is the whole of the Torah, the whole of the act of creation, the whole of the patriarchs, the whole of the exile in Egypt and Israel's exodus from Egypt, and the Song of the Sea. As it is written, then Moshe sang, is the whole of the 10 Commandments and the observance of Mount Sinai, and includes from the time when Israel walked in the desert until they arrived in the land and the temple was built. It is the whole of the crowning of the upper holy name with love and joy, the whole of Israel's exile among the nations, as well as their redemption, the whole of the revival of the dead through the day that is a Shabbat for the Lord, the day that is all Shabbat for the future. What it is, what was, and what will be afterwards, on the 7th day in the 7th millennium, when it is a Sabbath for the Lord. It is all in the Song of Songs. 326. Anyone who utters a verse from the Song of Songs and says it in an alehouse, the Torah wears a sack, ascends to the Creator and says before him, your sons have made me a mockery in the alehouse. Indeed, the Torah ascends and says so, and this is why one must take care and make each and every word in the Song of Songs a crown over one's head. 327. Why is she in the writing and not in the prophets? Her place is in the writing, because she is the song of praise of the assembly of Israel, who is the Malchut, who is crowned above, from Binah, and Malchut is regarded as writings. For this reason, all the praises in the world are not as favored by the Creator as this praise. 328. The Song of Songs, which is Shlomo's. The song is 1, songs is 2, which is 3. This is the meaning of the cup of blessing, Malchut, being placed and taken between the right and the left, which are the 2 lines, right and left, Hug, and all is awakened towards the king, that peace is his, the middle line, Tiferet. They are 3 opposite them, and by that the desire rises up in Ein Sof, infinity. The Holy Merkavah is here because the patriarchs Chagat, which are 3 songs, are Merkavah, and King David bonds with them. Hence they are 4. They are the upper Holy Merkavah, and this is why there are 4 words in this verse, in this first verse, in Hebrew, the Song of Songs, which is Shlomo's, which is the holy and complete Merkavah. 329. The song is King David, who ascends in a song. The songs are the patriarchs, the great appointees, the Merkavah that is properly completed, which is Shlomo's, is the one who rides this perfect Merkavah, Binah.
Any questions? Good. Most important is to keep the intention. That's the most important thing. It's simple, you listen, and the force will help us to direct ourselves in favor of the Creator. We want to do something, some kind of action, not just connection, but what comes of the connection, that's it. To receive from Him the strength, that we'll have the opportunity to influence Him.
330. In this verse is the perfection from the world and to the world, from Binah to Malchut. All the faith Everything is a complete Merkava, or chariot, for the one who is known, Yishsut Zat Bina, in which the Yud comes out of their Avir, air. And for the one who is not known and there is no one to stand and know, upper Abba Ve'ima, Gard Bina, in them the Yud does not come out of their Avir. Hence this verse is said in 4 words, which are a complete Merkava on all the sides, from the right and from the left. Henceforth, above Abba Ve'ima, the secret is given to the sages. 331. There is another internal secret in it. One who sees grapes in his dream, if they are white, they are good, meaning that the dream points towards good. Or if they are black, if it is in their time, during the time when the grapes grow, they are good. If not in their time, mercy is required, for they imply a bad decree. How is it different if they are white, and how is it different if they are black? Also, what is the difference between in their time and not in their time? And also, why is he guaranteed to be in the next world if he eats of the black grapes? 332. The tree in which Adam Harishon sinned was a grapevine. As it is written, their grapes are grapes of poison. These are black grapes because there are black grapes and there are white grapes. The white grapes are good, since they are from the side of the living, for white implies chesed, zerampin, the tree of life. And the black require rachamim, mercy or grace, for they are from the side of death, because black implies the tree of knowledge of good and evil, in which there is death. In their time, the time of the growing of the grapes, they are good, although they are black, because while the white govern, everything is perfumed. For then, all receive correction, all is beautiful, and all is one correction, white and black. When not during the time of the growing of grapes, when the white do not govern and the black appear in a dream, it is to know that he has been sentenced a sentence of death, and needs rachamim, because he saw that tree in which Adam Rishon sinned and caused him death, as well as to the entire world. 333. The world, this world, is as the world above, and all that there is in this world is also the same above, in the world above. If the serpent caused death to Adam below, what did it cause above, in the upper Adam, meaning Zerampin and Malchut? You might say that the light of the woman, Malchut, has waned, such as the moon, whose light sometimes diminishes, and then she is considered dead. We should also ask about the male, Zerampin. Why was death discerned in him? And also, did the moon, Malchut, die by the serpent's counsel, which is the diminution of her light? Rather, the waning of her light was not because of the serpent, but because the moon said to the Creator, "Two kings cannot use the same crown." This was on the 4th day of the work of creation. Thus, it was not because of the serpent. And is her husband, Zerampin, in diminution of flight, which is called death? No, there is no diminution above. 334. But this is all secrets of the Torah, and the serpent caused diminution in everything. All that the Creator did above and below is all male and female. There are several degrees above that differ from one another. From degree to degree, there is Adam, and those degrees that are one kind, the Creator made for them the form of one body by having male and female in Adam. Each degree contains 10 sfirot. The 6 bottom sfirot of each degree are one kind, since there are only 5 particular discernments in the 10 sfirot, kachabtum. Tiferet alone includes all of them, which are Chagat Na, and Yesod includes Chagat Na. Thus, Chagat Nehi are one kind, and one Bchina, one discernment of the 5 discernments, meaning only Tiferet. This is what became a Guf, which is called Adam.
335. On the 2nd day of the work of creation, in which hell was made, a single Guf was made, Adam. The good Vak in the Klippa Noga was established as a guf that also includes Malchut as its nukva. Its organs are appointed angels that are included in it, approaching the fire, the Klippa, blazing fire, and die and are revived as before. This is so because they approached the serpent and the upper Adam Harishon, who was seduced in his tabernacle by the Nukva, who is called a tabernacle. And the tabernacle was seduced by this serpent. This is why he died. The serpent caused the death because he approached it, just like the lower Adam. There are 4 klipot: stormy wind, great cloud, blazing fire, and Noga. The Klippa Noga has good and bad in her. The good in her is actual Kedusha, and is separated from the 3 Klipot, which are the impure serpent. If it approaches the 3 Klipot, which are the serpent, it is defiled as well, and the lights leave it, which is considered death. By raising man of the lower ones, it parts from the Klipot once more and is revived, becoming one guf, Adam, which is the good in Noga, which is Kedusha. 336. In all the places, Adam means male and female, even in the degrees of Atzilut. But Adam, that is the holy upper one, the upper holy one, Zeranpin de Atzilut, governs everything, giving life and food to all. And yet this strong serpent prevented the light in the whole of Adam. When the tabernacle, Adam's Nukva, the good in Noga, was defiled, she dies. The male also dies, and they are revived as before. For this reason, everything below is as it is above. 337. One who eats these black grapes in his dream is sure to be in the next world, because he has consumed them and governs that place, the Klippa, for he has eaten them, and overcame it and trampled it, since he has passed the strong Klippa. He approaches the next world, and there is no one to protest against him. For this reason, one who saw in his dream that he has eaten those black grapes and trampled them is sure to be in the next world. 338. There was no song in the house of David, Malchut, before these black grapes were removed and he governed them. Then the Song of Songs was said. They are called grapes, even in Malchut's place. As it is written, I found Israel like grapes in the desert. The children of Israel are the Malchut, and those in the verse are white grapes. 339. This singing transcends all other songs of the first ones. All the songs that the first one said ascended only to the songs that the upper angels said, and although they explained in a different manner, it is written, to David a song of ascents. A song of ascents is a song that the upper angels say, and they divide into levels and degrees. They say to David, Malchut, to ask of him for prey and nourishments. 340. The Song of Ascents is, as it is written, upon maidens a song. It is also written, therefore maidens love you, meaning the palaces of Beria, which are called maidens. It is the song of those maidens, because Ma'alot, ascents, has the letters of Alamot, maidens, to David, since David is the upper king, Malchut, who always praises the upper king, Zeranpin. 341. When King Solomon arrived, he said a high song above, which the greatest of the upper world, Hagat de Zeranpin, since Zeranpin is called the upper world, and his Hagat are called great. Gar, compared to his Nehi, which are small and considered Vak, say that a song to the upper king, that all of his peace is his. He is Binah, from whom all the lights of Zon and Bia come. All who cited the singing rose in this singing to say only the singing that the upper angels say. But King Solomon was the exception, for he rose in singing to what the upper great ones, the pillars of the world, Hagat Zeranpin, say. The singing of all the people in the world was their singing in the lower Melkavot, the Nukva below Chazeh Zeranpin. The singing of King Solomon was in the upper Melkavot, in Hagatum, in Chazeh Zeranpin and above, which are a Melkava for Bina. 342. Moses, who rose in the degree of prophecy and love for the Creator above all the people in the world, was the singing that he said in the lower Melkavot, and did not ascend further. The singing that Moses said rose up to Zeranpin, and not below to Nukva. However, he did not recite songs as did King Solomon, nor was there a man who ascended in singing such as Solomon. 343. Moses rose up to Zeranpin with his singing, and his praise was to give praises and thanks to the upper king, Zeranpin, who saved Israel and performed miracles and mighty deeds for them in Egypt and by the sea. However, King David and his son, Solomon, said this singing in a different way. David tried to correct the maidens, the palaces of Beriah, the parts of knee of Malchut, without which there would be no gal for Malchut, and adorned them with the queen, Malchut, so that the queen and her maidens would appear in beauty. For this reason, he exerted in those songs and praises for them until he established and adorned all the maidens and the queen. 344. When Solomon came, he found the queen decorated and her maidens in beauty. He tried to usher her into the bridegroom, Zeranpin, and admitted the bridegroom into the chuppah with the queen, extending vak of gadlut. He instilled words of love between them to unite them together, extending gal of gadlut, and both will be in one wholeness, in complete love. This is why Solomon ascended in praise higher than the whole world. 345. Moses mated the queen in this world below in Chazeh Zeranpin, and below in Vak, so she would be in a complete zivug in the lower ones. In this world, only in Tanhi. Solomon mated the queen in a complete zivug above, from Chazeh Zeranpin and above, inserting the bridegroom into the chuppah prior to the zivug. Afterwards, he admitted both of them into this world in the temple that he built, extended the zivug from the Chazeh and below as well. It follows that Moses extended only Vak to Malchut, and Solomon extended Gal once the Vak had been set up by Moses. 346. How did Moses bring the queen alone in this world if the zivug was in Tanhi Zeranpin, which belonged to Malchut, and only Chagat is considered Zeranpin? He seems separated. The Creator mated with Moses first, who was a Milkava for Chazeh Zeranpin, and above, and she was Moses' bride, once she mated with Moses, and received the mitigation from Chazeh Zeranpin, and above from him. She came down to this world in a zivug of this world, which is Vak, and was established in this world, which she did not before, and she was never separated. However, 347. However, since Adam was created, there has never been a person in the world who brought love, fondness, and words of coupling above, other than King Solomon, who established the zivug above Chazeh Zeranpin, first extending Chokhmah from there. Afterwards he invited them together to the house that he had built for them, meaning to the zivug below the Chazeh, as well, for extension of Chasadim. Happy are David and Solomon, his son, who set up the zivug of above in Gal. Since the day the Creator said to the moon, Malchut, go and diminish yourself. She did not make a complete zivug with the sun, Zeranpin, except when King Solomon arrived. 348. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, there are 5 degrees for clinging to the next world, Bina. The song is 1, of songs is 2, thus there are 3, which is is 4, and Solomon's is 5. There are 2 degrees of small zone in Chazé de Zranpin and below, and 2 degrees of the big zone from Chazé de Zranpin and above. And following them is Bina. It follows that Bina is in the 5th degree as well, for she is the 50th day, the Yovel. 349. Solomon could not correct the zivug above, Gar, unless there is a zivug below, in Vak. First, the zivug below is a zivug of Moses. For if there weren't this zivug first, the zivug above would not have been established. 350. And he spoke 3,000 proverbs. Of course, every single thing that he said contained 3,000 proverbs, such as the book Ecclesiastes, which is superior and allegoric, and there is not a verse in it that is not in the superior Chokhmah, and in an allegory, even the smallest verse in it. 351. This is so because when the first Rav Hamnuna Saba came to this verse, "Rejoice, O young man, in your childhood, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth," he would cry and say, "This is indeed a beautiful verse, and it is an allegory, and who can make what is in this proverb literally? If it is an interpretation, there is no interpretation in it in which it is possible to observe, but only superficially, as we evidently see. And if it is Chokhmah, who can know it?" 352. He promptly said again, "It is written, these are the generations of Jacob, Joseph at 17 years old." This verse of Ecclesiastes is an allegory to the wisdom of this verse in the Torah. One is an allegory of the other. "Rejoice, O young man, in your childhood," corresponds to, and he is a lad. The words, "and let your heart cheer you," correspond to, was pasturing the flock with his brothers. The words, "in the days of your youth," correspond to the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wife. The words, "and know that for all these things," correspond to, and Joseph brought back a bad report of them. The words, "God will bring you into judgment," correspond to, these are the generations of Jacob Joseph, since Joseph is included in Jacob, who is called a sentence. 3,000 proverbs is 3 lines, Chagat, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob, the middle line, comprises all of them, and there are 3,000 proverbs in him. Joseph Yesod is included in Jacob, and there are the 3 lines in Joseph as well. The difference between Jacob and Joseph is that Jacob leans toward the right, dominated by the light of the right. Chassidim, and Joseph leans toward the left, dominated by an extension of Chokhmah that is dressed in Chassidim through the middle line. It is written, "These are the generations of Jacob Joseph," meaning that Joseph is included in Jacob and has 3 lines, like him. He would shepherd the flock with his brothers, which is the right line, since flock is Chassidim. While he was still a youth, along with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, which is the left line, because the mochin of the left is called small face, a youth, and the sons of the maidens are left. It is written, "And Joseph brought back a bad report about them to their father." This is an extension of Chokhmah, by bringing the dinim of the left, which is the bad report of them, to their father, who is in the middle line. For then the middle line mitigates, clothing the Chokhmah in Chassidim. This is the heart of the text, to point out Joseph's merit in extending Chokhmah, and translation of Ben Zikunin is Baal Hakim. Ecclesiastes is similar to the text in the Torah. The verse, "Rejoice, O young man," was said about Joseph too, who is included in Jacob, like the verse in the Torah. It is so because here it is written, "Rejoice, O young man, in your childhood," and in the Torah it is written, "while he was still a youth." Thus, Joseph is called a young man and a youth, and let your heart cheer you, is the right line in Joseph. Opposite, who was pasturing the flock with his brothers. In the days of your youth is the left line in him, which are small face, corresponding to Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's wives. Know that for all these means that by the Dat elevating the three letters Elehe of Elohim and connecting them with the Mi of Elohim, the Chokhmah in Ele will clothe in the Chassidim in Mi, and the Chokhmah will be able to illuminate. This corresponds to, and Joseph brought back a bad report about them to their father, meaning that he extended the Chokhmah through the middle line. God will bring you into judgment means that God brings Joseph, includes him in the judgment, Tiferet, Jacob. The verse ends with it, indicating that the inclusion of Joseph in Jacob is essentially to extend the Chokhmah, as it is written, but know that for all these things God will bring you into judgment, bringing you into judgment in order to connect Ele in Mi through the Dat. This corresponds to these are the generations of Jacob, Joseph, that Joseph is included in Jacob.
שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב עלינו. שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב. שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב. שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים. שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים. שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב. שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב. שבט אחים גם יחד. תפקיד הזוהר חזק.
מחר שיעור בשעה 2:45, הכנה לשיעור 2:40.